Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys. Good evening, lovely people. I hope you're well. Welcome back to Kop-Ish. We're here with a very, very special guest. He is our brother, but you know, sometimes the ops become the ops for 1 day or 2 days out of the season. It is a big preview. It is Liverpool versus Chelsea, the biggest test, in my opinion, for both teams so far this season. And we're joined by the one, the only Matisse. Big up, bro. How you doing?
I'm very good, brother. I'm very good. I miss your accents and all of those times where you used to do them streams. You just come with the wildest accent, but I'm just like, yo, how do you manage that? And obviously, Drifty. Last time I saw Drifty, I think it was at Wembley, maybe, where we did a
yeah.
So yeah, man. Listen, whenever these two teams play, it's always a very serious encounter, big game, man. And we need
totally different.
Last season was nasty.
Totally different Chelsea from our last encounter.
Yeah, I was gonna say last time we played you, we were able to beat you 4-1 at Anfield. If I'm not mistaken, that was around February time, and you guys just weren't yourselves. Whereas so far this season, you look like you're a team that will, in my opinion, definitely finish in the top four, and with a few additions next summer, could be a team that challenges for the league. I don't know if you disagree or agree with that, Matisse.
You see me? I'm just
Don't
walking.
play humble,
I'm walking before I can run. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to get too excited because we've been in the trenches for a couple of years now. So my aim, the first thing for me, the first step was always get back in the Champions League and win your first trophy. Now, this season, that's the target, and you have to do that because I believe winning breeds winning, and I believe that if you can get that winning culture and that winning mentality and get that trophy into a young group of players as early as possible, it will be kind of, it gives momentum. And I think we've seen that when we've played each other in finals. You know, the more times you man keep winning, the momentum just carries on. And now we would go into a final with you guys and not really look forward to it as much. Do you know what I mean? Because there is history and there is PTSD. So for me, once we get over that first hurdle, then after that, I'm looking further because, yeah, like you said, I've never really been a big challenger of the league. It's either we can win the league or we can't. And right now we can't. And I know we can't because we're not ready. I can see it in the squad. I can see it in the way we defend. I can see it in the profiles in terms of the physicality and the set pieces. But when we can, it'll be a different Matisse. When we can, I'm ready to go. Do you know what I mean? I don't really want to do the whole challenging thing. I just want to win. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready.
But we'll never forget the suit and tie. We'll never forget.
Never forget when you walked in the river,
bro.
we remember.
Yeah, man. I walked into the lake. Do you know what I mean? Like that was an international.
If I'm being honest with you, at that time, the way Man City were just like winning everything, I kind of enjoyed you boasting. I kind of enjoyed it a bit because them man there did need a little humbling. They were just winning everything back then. Do you know what I mean? I think that was when they were fresh off 2 titles they took off us. So it was like, yeah. These men need a little humbling. So I enjoyed that one for a minute still.
Yeah. No, that was I think we beat them 3 times in a row. Tuchel versus Pep there, and we got past them, and I think in a cup semi-final, in the league away from home, I think it was, and then also in the Champions League final, and that's the last time that I've been able to have real chest, real, bass behind my voice. So I need that back, man. I need that back. But the only way we can get it back is to win things. I can't sit here and say that we're ready to compete for a title. Like I won't fall into that. If anything, I think the first selection batch of games has proved why we are in a top 4 fight, because I do believe that Palace home game and that Forest home game, if you are going for a title, you do find a way in those games, especially against 10 men there for the back end. Even though we create chances, you just have to put them away. So that's only made me really think that, yeah, we just need to lead the top 4 fight and get that done as comfortably as possible.
I think your squad's good enough to win the league. I just don't think you're ready yet. There's nothing wrong with the squad, bro. The squad is squadding. Like all banter aside, the squad is squadding, bro. Your goalkeeper's the only part I'd be like, nah, they need a world-class goalkeeper.
I think another centre back and a striker as well.
But the strikers are good though.
Mark Jackson's been good. He has been good, but if you're going to win the league, I do think you need either another top class winger or a top class striker?
Nkunku
can't do
can
it
win
by
you a
himself.
league.
I don't think he can.
I've always struggled with this. I've always battled with this in Nkunku as a striker thing, because personally for me, I still think he's best as a supporting striker, as a 10 or as a second striker. I think in some games, like Bournemouth, when he came on, he gets his goal, like we're dominating the ball. He's finding those little gaps in between the lines. He picks it up, he puts it in. But when you need that outlet or you need that real figure in the box to kind of hit, he's very difficult to find, because he's not got the same presence. Do you know what I mean? And Jackson certainly hasn't got it yet. So I do think we could do with another striker if it was like a Gyökeres or someone like that. But I have shame, and I know that we spent a lot of money. So it's like getting a PlayStation 5 at Christmas, and you're meant to be excited, and your mum's looking at you, really waiting for you to appreciate it, and then you're saying, "I wanted the Xbox One," and it's like, I'm not going to be that guy. You know, I'm just going to thank you for the PS5. Do you know what I mean? We signed a lot of players.
I hear it. I just want to quickly stick with you, Tuchel, not to spend too long on it. Obviously, it looks like he's going to be the England manager. He was at Chelsea for a while, became a bit of a cult hero there. Do you think he's a manager that can actually get England over the line and win stuff? Very different club and country.
Yes, brother. Since Lampard's shot didn't cross the line versus Germany, all the way to Cole Palmer scoring in the Euros final, that part of my life there, a very significant chunk, I've been dead and buried when it comes to England. But now, this manager, I've already ordered a bucket hat off Amazon. I think it's actually outside. Do you know what I mean? I think it's actually already delivered. I'm taking bucket hats off people that aren't happy. If you're not happy with the direction we're going in, then you're more than welcome to bring the face paint over here, bring the bucket hats, bring the jerseys, whatever you want. I'll collect it and take it, and I'll take the baton from here, because I've never felt so connected. This manager, and the funny thing is, yeah, these guys be like, "Oh, he's not English." I said, brother, why are you surprised now? 17 out of the 20 managers are foreign managers in the Premier League. In other leagues, it's the majority are from that country. What? Yeah. Outside of Graham Potter and Eddie Howe, who probably doesn't even want to leave Newcastle, like, why is it only just clicked in your brains now that there's not a top candidate for England? That's not new information. And I do feel like it's a little bit pick and choose, because I do think when Pep was linked, people were going crazy. And I include the pundits in that, the Jamie Carragher's, the Gary Nevilles, the Danny Mills, the Dean Ashtons. If Klopp had been appointed, I don't think the same opinions would have been flying out. I don't think they would dare, because you're talking now about bona fide world-class coaches. I believe Tuchel's one of the best out there, but Pep and Klopp in this country have done more dirt. So they've got a lot more respect. They have longevity. I don't think these people would dare come out and go against the FA's decision on that and talk about St. George's Park and all these things. But listen, now, brother, a World Cup, I'm ready, man. I make us heavy. I make us favorites. Maybe not heavy favorites, to be respectful, but I make us favorites. And I think Tuchel knows his remit. Like, he knows he needs to come in and win the World Cup. That's it. Get the 2 stars. He's not here to fuss about. When he came to Chelsea, he made immediate impact. We had 5 finals in 18 months or 20 months, 3 which we won and 2 which we lost to you guys on penalties. So he knows how to win. He knows how to perform in major tournaments. So when people speak about, relationships breaking down or whatever, that's maybe sporting directors or vision, or we don't have that with England. It's a national team. You pick your squad and you win your games in those tactical battles, and you take your team to trophies. That's all that matters. So I'm buzzing, man. I don't get all the negativity. I think England, for a nation that haven't won anything since 1966, I think they should be very appreciative. Very picky, man. Beggars can't be choosers. We're not those guys. Simply, we're not those guys. So
I hear it. Drift, back onto Chelsea. If I'm not mistaken, the beginning of the season, you definitely did. I feel like I did as well. Said that Chelsea aren't mugs now. I still don't think they'll, as Matisse said as well, I still don't think they'll challenge for a league, but they're not mugs. They're a team that's going to cause problems for other top teams. And so far, they're showing that they're going to be a team in and around 4th spot. Do you think they can go a step further than 4th spot and maybe challenge the quote-unquote, the big 3 in the league, the Man City, the Arsenal, the Liverpool? Or do you think top 4 is what they need to be aiming for and then kind of building from there this season?
Definitely aim for top 4. It will be a bit too ambitious to actually believe they can win the league outright and be like, right, we're going for the title. But you've always got to aim as high as possible, and then when you fall away, you don't fall too far away. So in their minds, they'll probably be aiming for the title, but realistically, they know top 4 is the goal. Do you get what I mean? Because the players, the Nkunkus and the Cole Palmers of this world aren't thinking, yeah, I'm happy to just get a little qualification for the Champions League and we're all there. Them man, they want to win stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So they definitely in their minds want to try and win it, but it's a weird one because Maresca, a lot of people doubted him because he didn't have the top flight ability, but he was very good at Leicester. It was just about, can he take that step up? Same reason why McKenna was being looked at and whatnot, because these managers are like, are you ready to go and take that next step? And Maresca hasn't taken that step yet, but he's on the right path. But what a lot of people forget is, and I don't know if Matisse remembers we had this conversation, because the whole Chelsea fan base were very, very like kumsi kumsar about Pochettino. And I remember I was saying to you, Matisse, at the time before we played the cup final, this is very reminiscent of his first season at Tottenham. And people forget he didn't have a great first year at Tottenham, but he built the foundation, got the squad used to what he needed to mentality-wise, etc. And then he kicked on after that. I think you'd be doing what you're doing now if you had Pochettino still, because I just think the squad is getting more and more used to the pressure and being ready to do this. Maresca obviously gets credit for what he's doing, but I think the squad, the way you ended the season, I think you were on this trajectory anyway. Like, if you go back and look at the way you ended the season, it wasn't poorly. Do you get what I mean? Like, you were starting to play all right towards the end of last season.
There was some ropey performances. I would say, like, I do think there's certain elements of development in some of these youngsters that need to be given credit to Pochettino. So for instance, Madueke's his work rate significantly improved under Pochettino. However, then there was misprofiling of maybe Colwell at left back. And Maresca's not done that. He's played Colwell in his natural position from the get-go at centre back, and he's reaped the rewards because he's been much better than he was at left back. So I think there's a few things that I think Pochettino in that year of a very young squad developing and learning their first seasons in the Prem, that Maresca's certainly not capitalizing, but he's certainly getting the nicer part of their stint now. They've had their
he's benefiting.
Yeah, he's benefiting. Yeah, he's benefiting from the fact that a lot of these players are not in their first season in the Premier League now. They've had a season. They've learned. They've had their arguments on the pitch with penalties, and they've had their moments of immaturity. And you'd expect that to kind of phase out in the second season anyway. And you'd expect development and some sort of upward trajectory for young players to be improving. So, but I think Maresca just comes across a lot clearer to the fan base. I think he's relating and translating to them a lot better. I think he's been a lot more clear cut and a lot more cutthroat, which you need to be in regards to, like, obviously the transfer window with Sterling we saw, but also just, this is my penalty taker, Cole Palmer. I think people appreciate just knowing what's going on and not seeing people learning on the pitch and whatnot. So, but yeah, listen, Poch, the thing is with Poch is that he had some really poor games. We're not talking about Premier League. We're talking about games against lesser opposition in cup games that I went to, whether it was Leicester's or it was Middlesbrough's away or it was, Wimbledon's, where what's going on here? We should be dominating these games. And he had a few too many of those moments on top of batterings to yourselves, Arsenal away. And then my turning point was not only batterings, and obviously the cup final was embarrassing because you guys put out loads of kids at the end. I know average age was similar for our team, but we're talking about experience at the top level, not age. You guys were bringing on guys that from PL2. That was embarrassing. And then when the board and the manager are not moving in the same direction in regards to Conor Gallagher or Trevor Chalobah or whatever it is, this is what Pochettino is building around, or he values, and you value something that's the complete opposite. There is no point moving forward because you're literally you're just biding time until this combusts. So from the moment I saw that, I just said, yeah, we keep it moving.
No, that's true. That is true. But again, Poch was probably Chelsea manager in the hardest time to be Chelsea manager outside of when Tuchel was dealing with the takeover. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously that was really difficult when you had all that madness going on.
That was rough, bro. That was rough.
Yeah, that was crazy. But outside of that, trying to just put this crazy project together I think it was more difficult than people realized for Poch to try and put that madness together. And like you said, Maresca is now reaping the benefits of him dealing with all the bullshit, getting through all the bullshit, and now, do you get what I mean? Everybody being able to come to light, because certain things like Cole Palmer and all that, he's a super talent, but there still has to be some credit given to Poch getting the best out of him and things like that. Do you get what I mean? And like you said, Mudawaike and some of these players, like, yeah, he was doing weird things, but he was also doing good things. So it was like Maresca that's why I knew the progression would happen, because I could see good things. And it's always fun to laugh at your rivals. We all enjoy it. We all laugh. We all enjoy laughing at the rivals. But I just said to everyone, you know what? Pump the brakes on the Chelsea banter, because I don't think they're going to be a banter club this season. I actually think, do you know what I mean? They're going to be not challenging for the league, but outside of maybe Tottenham, who else is going to stop them getting top 4? And now I look at it and I think, I don't even think Tottenham can stop you getting.
I'm more worried about Villa than Tottenham right now, to be honest.
That's true.
And I also thought West Ham.
Can Villa keep it up?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Can Villa keep it up? You ain't got Champions League to worry about. Villa do. So
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Can they keep it up? The next question that Cal wanted to ask me quickly, he'll be back in a second, is this the biggest test for Slot? And if so, why? I think it probably is, based on the opposition, based on the fact that Chelsea is the best team we played so far this season, outside of maybe Milan away. I know Milan not having the best of seasons, but going to the San Siro is no easy feat, especially when we want to go down. Yeah, it probably is, but I think in Slot's mind, he isn't thinking every game is like harder than the last or easier than the last. I just think he's looking at what the team is and how he can exploit that team, which is something that is kind of refreshing at the same time, because Klopp was very much, don't get me wrong, Slot sticks to his principles, but Klopp was very much like, look, we play the way we play, we're just going to do what we do, and it is what it is. Because we were better than most teams, 9 times out of 10 it would work. Whereas I think Slot, especially after losing to Forest, is a little bit more, hold on a minute, I got to try and figure out what the best way is to try and make a tiny adjustment here or a tiny adjustment there to deal with what the opposition are doing. So I'm very intrigued what he's going to do with Cole Palmer in this game, because I don't think he's going to just let Cole Palmer be a number 10 and just float around like he wants. I think there's going to be a player in our team that might have a little bit of an extra responsibility to keep an eye on Palmer.
Do you think this could be a man marking Gravenberch job? Because I remember when, and listen, Palmer's not at that level yet, but Ander Herrera marking Hazard was one of the moments that I always reflect back to. When you got a player on this kind of form who's literally just everything the guy touches is just turned into gold. It's either goals, it's assists, it's, you know, even little compilations to touch around the player. Everything he does right now for Chelsea just seems to be going perfectly, right? So do you think he's worth putting a plan in place to say we're focusing on him, or would you then look at the other players?
I wouldn't go as far as to say a whole game plan. I think McAllister will be told to keep a cheeky eye on him the whole game. So I don't think it'll be a man marking thing, but this is how I see it, and I don't know if the Liverpool fans agree with me. I think Gravenberch will be instructed to cut off the lanes, and McAllister will be told to keep an eye on the runs and the movement. So it'll be more about marking the space than the player. So I don't think you're just going to have Cole Palmer with somebody just following him all the way around the pitch. We won't do that, because that will disrupt our game plan too much. But I think it will be Gravenberch, you keep, because his intercepting is outstanding. I think it's one of the things slept on the most about what Gravenberch is good at. He's reading the game and then intercepting the passes that Caicedo, Enzo, and the likes will be trying to feed through to Palmer. And then I think McAllister would just be the one keeping an eye over his shoulder at the time. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? So that's what I think. That's what I think could possibly be what we do. So we won't man mark him, but we would definitely pay close attention to the fact that if you get Palmer marked and you get him restricted, then you take 50 to 60% away from what Chelsea are capable of. Because you have other good players, but he, for me, he's the one that makes it tick. He's the danger.
And would you say when you build up, is it with 2 players or with just one? Like, is it just with one player you're building up in the midfield, or 2 players kind of sitting and? and then maybe
It's
Szoboszlai.
with two, but in a different way. I don't know if Cal agrees with me, but McAllister does the passing.
He's like the puppeteer, isn't he?
Yeah, and then Gravenberch does the ball carrying. So I think it normally depends what phase of defending we're at, what phase of attack we're at, what phase of the game we're at, what pressure we're under, what pressure we're putting the opposition under. But generally, they have different roles, but execute them both to a way that helps each other and the team. So if McAllister's winning the ball off Palmer, what he can then do, quick pass to Gravenberch. Gravenberch takes the ball up the other side of the pitch. All of a sudden, we're in on your team, and Palmer's out the game, and the front players are out the game. Do you get what I mean? So it's like we'll be trying to just win those transitional battles, because the midfield battle is going to be amazing in this game. I think people are sleeping on Caicedo's playing way better this season. Generally speaking, I think your midfield is just playing better this season. Our midfield is playing well this season. So I think it's going to be a very intriguing battle of the two midfields in this game. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm apprehensive.
It's almost who steps up between Enzo and Szoboszlai, I think, in terms of who elevates their level to what we've seen this season. Because I think out of the six midfielders, those two have been the ones that could be better out of the six. Whereas Palmer's been brilliant, Gravenberch's been brilliant, Caicedo's been very good for us, and McAllister's been very good for you guys. So those are the two that are like we need more from, and this is the game to show it. And they're complete polar opposites as well. So
I was gonna ask you that actually, because in our fan base, Szoboszlai is the one that we say we would change in the midfield if we had to right now.
Yeah.
If you were to change someone for Enzo, who would it be? Would it definitely just be Lavio, or is there someone else you'd throw in the team instead?
I don't think we can, because the only other option is unless it was Dewsbury Hall. But I don't think Dewsbury Hall brings enough from a physicality standpoint to make that trade-off. Like, we're still, for me, quite weak in that respect. If we bring him in, I don't feel like we're stronger. We're more of a dual winning midfield team. If he comes in, I can still see him being brushed aside by a Gravenberch or being skipped past. Like, he's not a defensive midfielder. And Lavia, is too soon, in my opinion, for him to come in. Now, if the medical team decide that he's ready to start, then fantastic. But he hasn't played yet, and he's going into a game at Anfield. I don't think that's wise. Do you know what I mean? I would much rather he's eased in incrementally, his minutes go up 10, 15, 20 like he usually would, especially for a player that we're going to need later on. We got a big run of games coming up that are quite difficult, as you guys do as well. So I wouldn't really just throw everything at this game and just bring everybody in, even Reece James, another one. So I think Enzo has to start. He's been captain quite a few times as well. And what I'm hoping is that we're more pragmatic. We have been pragmatic at times, but especially in this game, we're compact. If we have to sit in a little bit, then maybe we do that just to close the spaces in between the lines. And then if you guys do push up the pitch, Enzo's got great long range passing. Just put it over the top. Madueke, make your runs. Jackson, make your runs, or whatever. And let's see if we can get some change out of you guys there. But yeah, if we're dropping Enzo Fernandez for games like this, that's not good because you didn't spend that type of money on a midfielder to drop him for your biggest games. Like, he needs to be able to come in and impose himself on these games. And he played really well in the 1-1 at Stamford Bridge at the start of last season.
Yeah, he did.
Obviously, this is a different ball game at Anfield. This is a whole different situation. But I'm worried about it.
Griff, apart from Cole Palmer, who else do you see as a real threat? I mean, Jackson started the season really well. Sancho, I think, is kind of going under the radar. I laugh when I say Madueke because of what Matt said about him in the past, but he's not been terrible this season.
What's Matt been saying?
I told Matt to stop saying stuff about Madueke because it's going to come back and bite him. But yeah, he don't feel Madueke at all.
Yeah, Matthew could be in big trouble.
Do you see Madueke as your long-term right wing? Because if I'm looking at someone like him and Neto, for me, Neto is head and shoulders above Madueke. Do you know what? Neto's injury worries are the thing that holds him back.
Do you know what it is, bro? Over the summer, I like Madueke. Like, people know this. I do like Madueke. I think he's got and he's shown enough development for him to turn into something quite dangerous for us. But when Elise was on the table, I said, that's another level right there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I have my cutoff points with Madueke. Like, I know he's improving. I know I can see it. I can see it in his shooting. I can see it in his work rate, tracking back, and I can see it. Well, his dribbling was always there. His 1v1 ability was always there. So the only thing that he's lacking and that he needs to improve is decision making, when to shoot, when to pass. And that also, for me, means we need to commit numbers to the box. That's another thing that we could do better. We could have a better focal point in the box. You know, we could have someone that's aerially a bit more competent, and then we could judge Madueke maybe a bit harsher, etc. But sometimes he does, you know, shoot when he should pass. But that for me, that comes with having young wingers in general, young forwards. So it doesn't shock me. I've seen enough improvement to be like, there's something here. But like I said, if it was Elise, it's a different ball game, because for me, that guy is he's going to be world class very soon if he's not already. So I think Madueke is Chelsea at the end of the day. Like, Chelsea is not a club where, even historically, where you could, unless you're bona fide world class player, you can't ever feel comfortable in your position and think you're long term, because you might be good enough right now, or you might be performing, but if you don't for a 3, 4, 5 month period, the narrative can change. And we have Esteval coming in next summer. I personally would rather him not be rushed into the first 11 and he allowed to just have a season of bedding in, coming off the bench, making impacts in the cup. I think that's healthier for him. But with the way we spend and the amount of players we buy, he will never be safe, because even in the summer just gone, I think they were trying to sell him. So, and then he had to do something mad. He had to do something mad. I think it was the Wolves game. He scored a hat-trick, and then all the rumors kind of calmed down. Otherwise, Newcastle were the ones looking at him. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just got to take it season by season. I'll be honest.
Fair dues. Drift. In terms of starting 11, it usually picks itself. But I think two positions on the pitch are up for debate. And I think that's left back and left wing. So I'm not going to do the whole let's go through the starting 11, because I think we all know what Slot's preferred starting 11 is at this point. Who would you start at left back, and who would you start at left wing for this game? Considering, is Gusto's available for this game? It's your left back who's not available, right?
Yeah, Kukure is suspended. I think
suspended.
Fafana's suspended as well. So Tosin and Renato Vega will come in.
But did Jackson get the ban, or is Jackson fine? Because I was talk that he was going to get suspended for the brawl.
Yeah, he's fine. I think he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
Those are the only two suspensions. Everybody else should be available.
I would probably for this game go with at left back. I would probably go with Tsimikas.
Cool.
I'd probably go with Tsimikas. A little bit more legs, just a little bit more pace. Obviously, Robbo's pace has dwindled a little bit as he's got older. So I'd probably go with Tsimikas at left back just for that little bit of extra pace. But I have no issue with it being Robbo. And the funny thing is, because it ain't Klopp anymore, this will probably never ever happen again. But this is kind of one of them games where screaming for Joey to play left back.
Oh, that's a left field shot.
But obviously not. He ain't in form and he hasn't played enough and stuff. But like you see, like last season, obviously, like with Madueke being like a quick player, whatever. Like we know Joey's probably the best one-on-one defender in our team from the fullback areas. Do you get what I mean? Like in my opinion, like nobody gets past him when he's playing well. He would have been somebody I would have liked to have seen play when you got a very quick winger that's up against you. Obviously, it's not going to happen because he hasn't been playing left back at all this season. But that would probably be what I'd like. Left wing, I'm not even going to lie, bro. Throw a coin up in the air, whatever side it lands on it is. Both our left wingers are cooking. Both our left wingers are brilliant. Both our left wingers are goal threats. Like, flip a coin. Gakpo or Diaz, I don't mind. At this point, I genuinely don't mind.
You know I'm not going to let you catch splinters, bro. You're the coin today. What side you landing on?
I thought it would be definitely Diaz.
Nah, Matisse, Gakpo's cooking as well this season, bro. Like, I love both our left wingers, so...
Bearing in mind, it's Gusto who's coming up against one of these left wingers. Who, in my opinion, is one of the better right backs.
Gusto's a very good right back.
That's what I'm saying. He's one of the better right backs in the whole league.
Do you know what? For the way Gusto plays, you might actually be looking at Gakpo being the one that would affect the game more, because Gakpo's a bit more smart intelligence in his movement, crossing the ball rather than taking you on. I think Gusto's very good at take-ons. Whereas he might struggle a bit with the fact that Gakpo will either go left and cross it, or he'll cut back onto his right foot, cut inside and either cross it or drive and have a shot and open up space. So it really depends. Maybe Gakpo based on the way Gusto plays. Because I think Gusto wants you to take him on. So the way Diaz plays, Gusto might be a bit happier living with that. Whereas Gakpo will draw out, then he'll pull back, then he might make the run. Do you get what I mean? I think he might unsettle Gusto a little bit more. Bro, like I said, I don't know, man. I'm easy, bro. Our left wingers are both playing very well at the moment. They're both good players. Yeah, I don't mind, bro. But maybe Gakpo, based on the fact I think it'll be more difficult for Gusto to mark Gakpo out the game than it would be to contend with Diaz.
Fair dudes. Matisse, I'll come to you. Who would you say would be in your starting level? Obviously, Sanchez will start in goal for you guys. Yeah. Who'd be a back four considering the suspensions, etc.?
I think for me, has to be, Sanchez, Gusto, Tosin, Colwell, and Renato Vega. That's enough changes to the back line that are forced because of the suspensions. So I wouldn't want to do any more tweaking. Gusto has had a lot of responsibility in some games, especially the last game where he was kind of asked to invert. Then he became like a box-to-box 8, underlapping fullback as well. Like he was covering a lot of ground. He was asked to play like 3 different roles. Similar to when they analyzed Joe Linton in some ways against City, where he was just like playing 3 roles, you know what I mean? He's box to box. So that does concern me a little bit. I would like to know, obviously we're going to find out how we use our fullbacks, because I am wary of your wingers and I don't want us almost overcompensating with the inversion, and then by the time, say you do win the ball back on the high press, our players are out of position. Now we got centre backs out wide, 1v1 with Salah's and Diaz's or whoever. I'm not really too keen. So it would be interesting to see if Maresca makes some tactical tweaks there, if we go with a more flat 4. I think Enzo and Caicedo are like nailed into starting the midfield. He's not going to bring Dewsbury Hall in for this game. I don't think he's not really brought him in for many Premier League games at all, let alone this one.
I was going to say, has Dewsbury Hall played at all for you?
He's played Conference League. Yeah, he plays Conference League. Sometimes he hasn't made the bench for Premier League games. Or maybe once or twice. But then, he plays Conference League. Because we play like a completely different 11, you're still kind of playing once a week. Do you know what I mean? So you're actually playing like, you're playing a normal amount of fixtures, just not the big ones. Palmer in the 10, Madueke on the right, Sancho on the left, and Jackson up front. I wouldn't make changes to the front line either. I think for this type of game, I wouldn't sacrifice Sancho's ball retention, especially early in the first half, just to get a grip in the game, calm the crowd down, have a bit of possession. Then maybe Mudryk can come on second half if it's tired legs, or we need to try and expose pace for Trent or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, even then, when we talk about Mudryk's pace versus Trent, I know Konate is going to cover him and get across. So I'm not really looking at that as much as I maybe would previously, and think, if a Kwanzaa was out there, or nice, you know what I mean? Konate is going to get across the ground quite quickly. So my biggest concern is set pieces, because that's where we really struggle. We've struggled like that for years, and we still haven't really found an answer as of yet. And Van Dijk and Konate coming up for set pieces is daunting.
You get flashbacks to Wembley.
Of course, brother. Because I'm looking at us taking set pieces. Well, listen, we weren't even swinging in good crosses with Palmer and Enzo the last game. But I'm looking at our set pieces and I'm seeing Cucurella and Sancho having conversations, having like, how are we going to attack this ball? And I'm thinking, like, what's a polar bear doing in Egypt? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just not your. This is not your place. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just like, this is not your place. You don't belong here. Like, why are you talking about attacking a corner? It's just not making sense. The most aerially dominant players we have are Badiashile and Disasi, and there are backup centre backs. Yeah. And in open play, I wouldn't bring them into this game for Liverpool. But yeah, so it's tough. But yeah, man, it is what it is. We are creating a lot of chances. Open play, I think we've created the most in the Premier League, and we're scoring goals. So it's a shootout for me. In my opinion, it's a shootout for us. That's how I see it. You guys obviously defend well this season, so it's different for you. But yeah,
even more reason to play Cody. Cody's crossing is brilliant, and if they struggle with that kind of aerial defense, do you know what I mean? Like, we know Diaz isn't really going to do that many air crosses. He's more drilled along the ground, cutbacks kind of thing. Cody's crossing is exemplary. It's getting better and better every single week, man. Like some of his crossing to the back post for Holland, even with his left foot, he'll actually take it to the byline and then he'll just cross it. Like, Cody's crossing is very much going under the radar. He's getting better and better at crossing every time I watch him play. So even more reason to play Cody than if Chelsea may struggle in the air with crossing coming from either side. Because Mo ain't really going to do high crosses. Not that he's not capable, but he's not really. So at least have one of our wingers that's going to be crossing the ball in to create a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think you man could tell Mo to chill? Don't want to see him take. Don't really want to see him taking his pop off again and all this. Like,
you know how he feels about Chelsea.
We know you got abs. Yeah, we know you got abs. We know you're in shape. Come on, man. He needs to be careful, because he'll get booked. And if he scores twice, he's getting sent off. And then next thing
no, he's got the bow and arrow. He's got the arrows in the
the bow and arrow celebration now. The Alex Pereira. Matisse, one question before we do score predictions. You said Palmer in the 10. Is there a chance that you add a third centre midfielder and Palmer plays from the right-hand side because he's a player that can drift in? And if I'm going to be honest, from a tactical standpoint, if you got Palmer playing on the right, he'll naturally drift inside. So yeah, you might leave a bit of space for the fullback attacking wise, but defensively, it will outnumber us in midfield. So could that be something you guys do? Go with three sort of players in the midfield and then play Palmer on the right, who has a free role from that position? Or do you still not think so?
I think when we played Man City first game of the season, I think he brought Lavia in and he played the three in the midfield. And it was an interesting one because we've always had in our heads, at least when you spend what we spent on the midfield, you think, oh, all three of them must play together. But that was a very flat midfield in regards to attacking attributes. There wasn't enough goals in the midfield. There wasn't enough box crashing. So my concern would be numbers in the box, committing numbers forward, etc. And also because we've always tucked in a fullback, if you play Palmer on the right, one thing you have to do is give him an overlap. With Madueke, you don't have to do that. Madueke gives you a bit of an outlet. He's a bit of a counter-attacking threat, which maybe Liverpool just dropped their defensive line a little bit just to respect that threat. And I think if you go with Palmer, the game becomes a little bit more congested for us. There's not an outlet, so to speak. And also, you have to overlap Gusto. And that's just something we've not seen once this season. We've not really overlapped Gusto at all on that right-hand side. And then it just changes the whole way we've been building up and our structure. So I think if Lavia was fully fit, I wouldn't rule it out. But because he isn't available, I don't think he's looking at Shrewsbury Hall and thinking, I mean, he might throw an extra body in there just to overcompensate. But I think, I feel like we'd be getting rid of one of our more promising counter-attacking threats if we did that. And then I just see us trying to overplay, trying to play our way out, always not really having enough outlets. And then just, if we do that, we kind of just become very defensive, and then we're just potentially overwhelmed and just concede a different way. You know what I mean? Instead of just at least giving you guys a bit of more of a threat. Because Sancho's a bit already quite, he's not a burst of pace. He's not an isolate your fullback 1v1 and just leave him to it. He wants to be interchanging and playing with, popping the ball back and forth with others. So yeah, I think Sancho's game would be hurt almost if Palmer went all the way to the right and then suddenly you don't have any link. Yeah.
Very fair. Right, quickly do these supers and then score predictions. Alex says, evening boys, big up Matisse on the side note. Count is right about room temperature water is better for your gut and intestines. Cold ones can cause gastronitis. Thank you. I wish you were here on Monday, Alex, because I got cooked.
Yeah, but Alex, what you got to remember is everybody knows that vegetables are better for you, but you want the donuts, don't you? So it's not always about what's best for you, If we all know what was best for us, we wouldn't support Liverpool. I probably got an ulcer in my stomach because of Liverpool, the stress they put me through. No, it's not good for your health. Cow, it's not good for your health.
No football club's good for your health, bro.
It's not good for your health.
It
depends, isn't it? It depends.
Yeah, there's levels to
Real
it.
Madrid don't really
Madrid, I don't know if their hearts really race like they used to do as fans.
Real Madrid fans have never had any gastroenteritis issues
Yeah.
or stress related
Yeah,
problems, because you know what I mean. Like, so it depends who you support.
very true. Alex says for Matisse, who do you fear from our attack or midfield? I don't know if you've answered this already. With what you said. Who would you say?
I think the ball carrying aspect of Gravenberch, I'm definitely aware of, because we struggled with Kovacic on the first game of the season with that. And obviously Enzo's going to be in there and he can be skipped past a bit. And then my initial thought was Diaz on the left versus Gusto, because Gusto has not had the strongest start to the season and Diaz has. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Salah versus Vega. I don't know why, because Salah always scores, but I'm looking forward. It's a good test for the kid. He's very aggressive. We'll see.
Should be interesting. Shout out to Azuka Fred, who just become a member. Big up yourself, Fred. Himanshi says, Drift, my boy Bivol got robbed. I'm so angry.
Himanshi, don't make me relive that again, brother. I'm still vexed for that. But
not a robbery, guys. Close fight, not a robbery. Not a robbery. Could have gone either way. Shout out to Gaz, who's been a member, and I quote, for 4,267 weeks. It's my big 40th birthday on the 21st. If you guys are free Saturday, I'm out for it Saturday. Might see what I can do. Actually, I've got PFL watching on, but I'll see what I can do. Messaging the Kopish chat.
We'll talk, brother. We'll talk.
I'm effing older than Milner. You'll never walk alone.
We'll talk.
Right.
We'll talk, yeah.
Everyone in the chat, if you haven't already, please do smash that like button. But also in the title of this video on YouTube is the link to Matisse's channel. All you have to do is hover over the link and click subscribe. So let's do that right now, people, and show some support there. Matisse, as our guest, I've got to come to you first. Liverpool versus Chelsea, 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. What is the final result at 6:35? Should we say?
I'm a leave with something. God willing. I'll definitely take a draw. I'll be honest. I'll take a draw right now. I'd say 2-2 would be a, because we're going to concede more than you can believe. Oh yeah, 2-2 shootout. We'll go with that.
You know what? Chelsea's in a beautiful position in terms of where their development is right now, where like you don't want to be there. Obviously, you want to win things, but while you're there, enjoy this, brother, because drop points here or there when you're just a top 4 team is absolutely no skin off your nose. It's nothing. It's like, you see, like if you ask Matisse right now, would he take a draw home and away against Arsenal, Liverpool, and City? He'd probably say 100%. Right now, I just take it. I don't care about any other.
I do need a win against Arsenal. I'll be honest. I do need one win against Arsenal.
Okay.
It's a craving. You know, you get them cravings. Yeah, it's a craving. I'll be honest.
But it's a beautiful place to be, because right now a draw against Chelsea ain't a bad result at all. But it is if we have the ambitions that we have, because you just can't drop any points. So it's like, do you know what I mean? In isolation, the draw against Chelsea is not bad.
You guys weren't expecting to win a title this season, so it's almost like you've had to fast track to your mentality a bit, isn't it? Because I think initially it was top 4 in a trophy, no?
No. For me, title, 100%.
Really? I said third place in a trophy, but
I've got you third as well. Yeah.
We're good enough to win the league, so I want to go for the league.
Do you know what it is as well? Similar with us, we have to make top 4 because of what we've spent and like the pressure of not making it previous years. But the manager, I have more sympathy for, and I'd say you have more sympathy for the manager. But Salah, Trent, Van Dijk contracts, and Alisson, like you kind of do need to maximize.
Why are you saying that with a smile on your face, bro?
Alan Madrid.
Have you not heard the way man's been talking, bro? Come on,
Alan Madrid. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know what? All right, if we're gonna go
the
down
positions
that road,
you have.
Just to end up, because I know we can't talk about this for too long, but I need to talk to a Chelsea man about this. I need to ask you lot why you lot let somebody borrow your girlfriend and you're paying for all the dates. Like, I need to understand what's going on, bro.
Break that down.
I just and it wasn't even just somebody. It was one of your neighbors. Why is one of your neighbors taking your girl on dates and you're paying for the dates? You're paying for the petrol in the car.
What, Sterling?
Yeah, bro. What I need to understand what's happening here, my brother.
I think
you're even paying rent. on his house.
For Chelsea,
What is going on, brother?
He's not
If
the main
I'm to ask,
cheese.
if I'm to ask the guy who is taking said girl out on dates, I would like to ask: is the dates going well? Is she contributing? Is she contributing to the conversation, or is she just sitting there looking pretty and just taking pictures of the food and? Right now, Sterling's just taking pictures of Martinelli and Saka doing all the work on the plate, and he's just sitting there. So until said girl contributes to conversations that actually affect me, I'll more than happily pay for her to go out on these dates because she's out of my hair. Now I'm at home chilling. Now I've got Sancho, conversating. Now I've got Madueke conversating, Palmer conversating. I will pay you to give me peace. That's what I'm paying for. I'm paying for peace.
Okay.
I am getting peace. And in fact, what you should twist it to is a double agent scenario where we're actually paying someone to disturb and destroy their title hopes. When the day comes, when a goal is needed, a 1v1 moment or a pass on a 2v1, and he butchers it, money well spent. Title.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that, bro, because I'm confused.
All right, about it, man.
Confused,
Hey, this is your ex, by the way. You know this girl. You've had this girl.
This was a high school thing, bro. It was a high school thing.
But that's the point, bro. Yeah, high school
still
thing.
Counts.
Before
you know this girl.
You know what I mean? And the unfaithfulness and you know what I mean?
This girl's got about with all the big ballers.
We didn't have to worry about nothing.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Somebody. No. That's Sterling, bro.
Listen, this girl's been about, you know what I mean? All the big shot callers in the top of the table. She's been there whining and dining. This ain't the first time, do you know what I mean?
No, she was a bookworm and we made her popular, bro.
Yeah.
We made her popular.
Wow. I was like, I didn't realize she looked like that in a dress.
Yeah. Like, whoa. We gave her the makeover. We took her to prom. Now, you know what I mean? Now she's over feeling herself and it's got all mad ever since, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, we're the stepdad. You know what I mean? Like
the stepdad is a difficult role.
We're the ones. She's divorced, and now we're the second ones. You know what I mean? We're the second. We're second. So yeah, man, it ain't gonna work out. You know what I mean? It's just the paperwork ain't done. You know what I mean? So.
Matisse is giving his score prediction of Desmond, the 2-2 result. What are you saying, bro?
I've got to stick with my boys, even though I'm very apprehensive, very, very worried, very anxious about this game. I'm going to go for a 2-1. I'm going to go for a 2-1.
I've got to do that same.
And I'm worried at some point in this game it's going to be 1-1. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be 1-1 at some point in this game. But I'm going to go with a 2-1. Need that Liverpool dub. And if we beat Chelsea, I think it puts fear in Arsenal as well. If we lose to Chelsea, it gives Arsenal a boost. A lot of people aren't looking at it in that way, but I am. I think you need to put a little fear in Arsenal as in like, okay, we lose to Chelsea, Arsenal will think, because remember, we got them next week. So I think we need to beat Chelsea so we can put a little fear in Chelsea. Arsenal will be way more apprehensive about what to do with us if we beat Chelsea, especially if we win convincingly, you know what I mean, which we're all praying for. We get a nice 2-0 convincing win, then it just puts a little bit more pressure on Arsenal as well. So yeah.
Agreed. Right. Last super chat. Atana says Curtis Jones' best ability is dribbling. Facts. Fair dues. Fair dues.
Big up Atana.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Matisse, anything you want to promote before we say good night to the people and to the chat, bro?
They enjoyed that Sterling analogy in the chat. Yeah, not really much to be honest. Just subscribe to the channel. 3 letters MAH. That's where I'm dropping the content. And yeah, man, very much looking forward to the watch along. And I've got Big 6 watch along, so that's gonna be very intense. Very
good luck.
Very intense
as well.
Yeah, very intense.
Yeah, I'll watch down the replay.
Yeah. No chicken.
It's Grizz and Matisse either side of the table for the first time.
No chicken wings, no handshakes before. Like I'm going in there, hood up, tunnel vision.
Did you say no chicken wings, fam?
Yeah, because Grizzle is like he was like a pre-match chicken wing because we've been hosting the watch-alongs. Me and him are not being under any pressure. We're sitting in the middle, hosting, co-hosting, reading out comments and whatnot. Now we're going into the trenches, so there's no chicken wings, none of that. I don't want to hear any orders from him in the group chat. Oh, get me chicken burger. No.
Big up all the boys on the Big Six show. Tomorrow we'll be back in the morning and then potentially in the evening. So make sure, guys, you switch on the notification bell. Also subscribe if you haven't already. And then obviously on Sunday we'll be back for the big game as well. Drift, anything you want to say to the people before we say good night?
Love as always, man. Love as always, people. It's been an absolute pleasure, brothers. Bruv, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bruv. I felt so bad for you watching the vlog of what happened to you at the airport. Oh my days, bro.
I've got it on my save watch later still.
And then when
it's a movie.
The plane was delayed that you could have got on it. Nah, bro, I was so angry for you, bro. I was so angry for you.
Bro, man ended up in Oslo, Norway. Beautiful place. But that's not part of the plan. 1K to go to Norway. Bro, I go to the airport, right? The Esther's not coming through. The Esther come through 10 minutes after checkout or check-in close, sorry. And by the time I get up to DR, right? By the time I get up to North London from Gatwick, they're still on the tarmac. They ain't moved. The plane ain't taken off. It's delayed. I'm like, yo, this is too much to handle, man. Too much to handle. Mad. So I just had to embrace it. Norway's a lovely place. Anyway, who cares? You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Big up to Beige and Reds TV, who's gifted 5 memberships. Guys, if you are one of the recipients of that, please make sure you guys send a special thank you to the guys over at Beige and Reds TV and go subscribe to their channel as well. People, it's been another one in the books. Massive shout out to yourself, Matisse. Really appreciate you, bro, making time to jump up. And people, until we see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kop-Ish and we're out, people. Take care.
Peace.